Welcome to the Future.Bible Podcast, where you'll hear profiles of individuals and Bible-inspired organizations making a difference in the digital world. In each episode, we'll bring you stories of innovation, advancement, and real-life change. Are you ready? Let's get to today's episode.
Well, welcome back, friends. Thank you for joining us for today's episode of the Future.Bible Podcast. My name is Kenny Jahng. I'm one of the co-hosts of this new or relatively new venture. We have on the other side of the screen with me my co-host, DJ Chuang. Hey, DJ, good to see you today.
Yes, I'm on the other side of the screen and other side of the coast.
East Coast, West Coast. And I love the fact that we have technology that brings us together on a regular basis. Today we are, I guess, in for a treat on my side because this is fueling my entrepreneurial DNA. My background with startups, etc., is excited to talk about what we have in plans for today. And that is talking about the world of Kickstarter. DJ, last time you were not able to join us last time as we sat down with an entrepreneur. His name was Justin Trapp. It's in our episode number 3 of our podcast series, and where Justin talked about one of his projects, seminary.co, that was launched on Kickstarter itself. DJ, did you get a chance to listen to our conversation?
Yes, I listened to every single word, and it was a phenomenal project.
And so one of the things that, we talked about was the success of their project. Seminary.co launched on Kickstarter, was fully funded, just immediately, as soon as they launched, same day. That's not a normal thing. It is actually something that's a testament to the quality of their storytelling, the messaging, and the promotion and pre-promotion they did for that, and just the fact that the project resonated with all the backers that they had. And DJ, you and I have talked about Kickstarter for a while. Why don't you tell everybody who people here may not actually know what Kickstarter is? Why don't you share a little bit about what it is actually, what type of platform it is?
Well, Kickstarter was one of the first, certainly the most popular platforms where people can do crowdfunding. So you can put together a proposal for a project or a project that's already in progress, and they provide a landing page where you describe the project and how valuable it is and what benefits are, and here's some of the risk in funding this project, and then you set a goal. So let's say you set a goal for $10,000 to build an app. Now you have, say, 30 days to raise it. I think you get to set the time frame for when you want to raise that amount, and it's all or nothing. If you raise the $10,000, you get it.
Yes.
If you don't raise the $10,000, you don't get a penny. But if you raise more than $10,000, you can actually set stretch goals for additional features that you would add to your project. And these projects can be technology or non-technology. It can even be a printed book. It can be, I don't know if you can do a road trip, but all kinds of things that you can produce, CDs, television shows.
I think a road trip is viable. I've seen some very quirky things you can sponsor in terms of live experiences and things like that. If you go to their website, so their website is Kickstarter.com, they say they have almost, as of today, 3,596, almost 3,600 live projects, 147,965. So almost 148,000 projects have been funded on the platform, and they've involved over 15 million backers. 15 million have donated to these Kickstarter projects. So pretty incredible platform.
Yeah, some of them are really amazing because it just hits mainstream. It's like an R&D lab in some sense. So I bought a few products on Kickstarter. So I have a jacket that has like 19 pockets for all kinds of technology. And that was funded on Kickstarter. And I think they raised, well, let's say their goal is $1 million, they raised 10 million. And there was just such a hunger. And sometimes these projects that are posted on Kickstarter just hits a nerve, hits a big need, and people just go crazy over it. It's amazing.
Yeah. So this is a great platform for entrepreneurship and also for people looking for some new innovative ideas. In fact, I remember back in the day, my wife somehow found Kickstarter without me exposing it to her. And for one of my birthday presents, she actually bought me, if you recall, the old Pebble Watch 1.0. I now carry an Apple Watch, but the original Pebble Watch came in the mail from a Kickstarter that she funded as one of the backers there. So it's a fun platform that's available to everybody. So if you haven't been around, definitely check it out. Today, I just want to share that what we're going to do is we'll talk about a couple of different projects that involve Bible and the technology. Here at the Future.Bible Podcast, we are trying to find and meet innovators in the space that are applying the never-ending, evolving technology in one hand and the unchanging Orthodox Bible in the other, and putting them together. And what happens at the intersection is the Future.Bible. So we are looking for examples of that, and Kickstarter is obviously one of those incubation type of breeding grounds that we could see, hey, what's going on, and we have some great examples. Today we found 3 in particular. The first one I'll say, DJ, is the Dwell Scripture Listening app. Now, if you haven't heard about this one got funded in just, I think, 3 days. In fact, yes, on their site it says funded in 56 hours. They had over 2,000 people raise over $125,000 to build this mobile app. And I've been downloading it and using it. DJ, have you had a chance to actually interact with the Dwell Scripture app yet?
I was a supporter, and I've downloaded it, and I've played it maybe once or twice. So I haven't interacted with it as much as I could, but you can describe it like a Spotify meets Bible with dramatic reading. And so instead of one person reading the entire Bible or the entire book, it's actually clipped into segments that make sense and read dramatically by 4 or 5 different people, and more voices to come.
Yeah, and you can choose what voice you want each portion of the Bible read. I was actually going through one of their plans recently, and it was the book of Romans, right? Romans is a great book to just go through. And so listening to the audio Bible, going through Romans, one verse actually struck out. It was in Romans 10. I just want to call this out today because it's Romans 10, I think it was 14 and 15. And where the verse that really struck me was, how beautiful are the feet of those who carry the good news. How beautiful are the feet of those who carry the good news. And it just made me think, and this is what I think audio evokes, it's this experience, right? Instead of just reading text, is that back in the old days, there was really only one way to, quotes, carry the good news. It was either like walking from town to town or group to group and delivering the word orally, as we know, it used to be an oral tradition, or physically bringing any written portions of the Bible, walking from one place to another, right, and sharing that good news. But today, we've got the digital universe. We've got pixels. We've got the information superhighway, and it just felt like a prompt and calling to say, those of us in this generation involved with tech and the internet and the web and digital communications, that we are called here to put a multiplier effect on what used to be done manually, step by step. Now we can do instantaneously. Just like we are communicating East Coast and West Coast, imagine that we can literally reach the ends of the earth with digital. And so that's just one of those things to say, hey, that call is alive, it's present, and this is it's an encouragement to me as we do our work in our vocation.
Yeah, and you think about how those people carry the gospel by walking and riding chariots on the Roman highway system, which was revolutionary in that time of history. And now we have the information superhighway, which is the internet. And now it doesn't even require physical lines. There are ways to transmit internet signals through the air and through satellite. And so they are literally able to reach the ends of the world. And we are blessed to be a part of this project with the .Bible top-level domain, which literally is a part of that information superhighway.
Yeah, I think this is just one of those things that it's a natural evolution of using technology in a way that fits into people's daily lives. And I love the fact that it started here on Kickstarter. for everybody to enjoy, and it got successfully funded. And so, yeah, I've been going through that app. I think we'll probably hopefully get one of the Bailey brothers on the podcast in the future to talk about their experience and where the ideas came from. But so that's the first project, just as one example of the types of things that Kickstarter has enabled to come out of using technology and Bible together.
And number two.
Yes, DJ, what's our second app?
Second one is called She Reads Truth. And it sounds like it's a Bible reading app for women of some kind. Devotionals, I believe.
Yeah, I think it's a community online. She Reads Truth. I think from what I understand, I remember a couple months ago coming across that they actually have evolved into a He Reads Truth, and I think there's a Kids Reads Truth community as well. But this is, again, I love this because this is a niche audience building something for themselves on Kickstarter and putting a call out to the community, women, Jesus-loving women, to build something together. And so, yes, it's a devotional app. Again, it's another mobile app. And, mobile apps are just part of our daily living. And so I think there's a threefold purpose on their Kickstarter page. They said they want to sustain the She Reads Truth ministry. They want to provide women everywhere with a beautiful, functional, accessible Bible that's free to download and share, right? It's basically also an evangelistic tool. And they want to enrich the existing She Reads Truth experience in the community. So that's one of the things that they did. DJ, what do you think about this type of project on Kickstarter?
I think with this particular project, they've already built a community through their blog and through their forum. And so this was built in partly to connect the community more. So it wasn't a project that came out of the blue, which would be harder to build an audience for. But I think in response to an audience they already have and adding more value to that audience, they were able to kickstart this project very much faster, as well as exceeding their goal. So their initial goal was $35,000 just to build the app, and then their second goal was $65,000 so that they could build the app for iOS as well as Android. So iOS is the first goal, Android is second goal, and then they even hit the third goal, which was over $80,000, and they held a virtual conference for their community of She Reads Truth writers and guests. So
don't you love that?
Quite amazing how they can serve a community in this way. And
I love the fact they culminated in a virtual experience together. That just it warms my heart. One of the things that I love here again is for people listening here, it's an example of, hey, you don't need to just abandon what you're doing and start something completely from scratch, right? This is something like, if you have something going on, if you've got a community, a ministry, something going on, that is something that it might be the foundation of your supporter base, and it might be something that you do to energize and further push your community to do something more. It doesn't mean that you need to start afresh and quit your job and do something else entrepreneurially. So I love this platform allowing to do that. The third one is in a very similar way. The third one is called Video Bible Talks. I don't know if you have heard of these guys before. I actually like them a lot. Video Bible Talks is actually a website. It's called videobibletalks.com. And they are a group of people that are producing just that, Bible related or Bible teaching videos that are available for free to download for churches and ministries. So if you're involved in teaching in a group setting, whether it be a small group or Sunday school or any other type of discipleship format, this is a great resource to check out their resources. DJ, have you seen any of their videos before?
No, this is the first time I've heard of it. So thanks for mentioning it to me. So in addition to the website, what did they do on Kickstarter?
So again, this is one of those things. These guys had this ministry to begin with, And what they decided to do is, we're going to take something and carve it out. If you listen to their actual video on Kickstarter, they wanted to tackle the Sermon on the Mount and have a series of videos that they can produce, right? Video production can be expensive if you do it well and have high excellence in equipment, etc. Right? You just recently went through a video project yourself, right? And knowing all the intricacies of producing a video project. It can be expensive. And so, yes, they said, let's do the Sermon on the Mount, Matthew 5-7. And I believe they created 6 videos, I think, to go through the Sermon on the Mount.
I see it. So they're using the British pound. So they are across the pond creating these video Bible talks on the Sermon of the Mount. And that's just series 1. So they may well have additional series as their community grows.
Yeah. So again, this, what I love about this is a couple things, right? One is they're using Kickstarter to extend their ministry and find a broader supporter base to help realize their dreams for what their ministry wants to be. Second, I love the fact that they're creating video content in a video content, that format, that form factor itself. As you've heard me say over and over, video is the new black. We're here in 2018 going into 2019. If you're not invested in video, you really need to do a self-check right now, or maybe have an intervention, right? And then lastly, we've gotten from a Gutenberg world to a Google world. The kids these days, the younger generation, in fact, all culture is no longer talking textual. We're post-text. We have to go to a video format. So producing 10 to 15 minute long videos with expositional teaching on the Bible and using this format, I think, is a very smart move on their part. And obviously it resonated with people.
Well, that's a great find. And I think, these wouldn't be on Kickstarter, but it just brings to mind some additional, some other efforts that are related to Bible videos that are kind of circulating out there. A couple that come to mind, the Bible Project has been phenomenal with their, what do you call those, explainer videos, cartoons, explaining Bible verses. And then there's some newer Jesus movies that are more short form that fits a mobile audience. So those things are beginning to happen as well.
Yeah, I think we're seeing storytelling catching up and evolving with what culture is demanding. And I think it's seeing the flourishing of that genre is lovely, right? And even podcasting here, right? Podcasting is something I think that started off, was a little bit geeky, had a little bit of a dip, and now it's back. Podcasting, I don't know what the stats are off the top of my head, but it's kind of crazy the number of people actually consuming podcasts on a weekly or regular basis at this point. Hey, I want to point out one thing, though. You've got a shirt on that isn't your typical orange. What's going on?
Well, it's a hashtag I love podcasting, and it's from a platform called Spreaker. So I like going to conferences and I like podcasting. So I happen to be wearing non-orange.
A rare occasion.
I like to go incognito. So
a rare occasion. I have, just for you, I had some desk accessories here and they're even orange, but I caught you today, the one rare occasion without orange. But you know what? It's a great, you wore the I Love Podcasting shirt for the occasion. I love it. I wish I had one of those shirts. Pretty cool shirt. Those are 3 separate examples of really interesting, neat projects that started out on Kickstarter that got fully funded or out in the wild. We really encourage you to check them out. The Dwell Scripture reading app, which is on iTunes and Google Play. Same thing with the She Reads Truth app. Those are great places to check out. You should check out their websites as well. And then the Video Bible Talks. You can actually see, they've actually completed the project and published it, and you can download the Sermon on the Mount, the videos in particular, as well as the others on Video Bible Talks. And so those are the types of things that I love discovering across the net, because you know what? There's so much that we have to discover that's related to the Bible. And as we close out the show, DJ, I want to highlight another site that you are curating that that shares and catalogs and indexes things that are all related to the Bible. Why don't you share with that as we close out the show?
Yeah, a couple months ago, we launched a website called Forallthings.BIBLE, and we have been curating interesting and useful Bible websites. And I think the Bible can be much, much, much more than just presenting the text. I think that is so 70s or 80s. I don't know. Somewhere back there. Okay,
yes.
That's the beginning of distributing scriptures. And there's places that still in the world that still need Bible translation. And we have another website that we're partnered with called Illuminations.BIBLE, where I think we have currently like 1,600 Bibles that are translated, but there's another 5,000 or 6,000 languages that are still needing translation work to be done in order to.
Oh, it's the opposite, DJ. It's the opposite. It's much more encouraging. There's 1,600 languages left in the world that we're trying to get to. And once there's a translation project started in those remaining 1,600, we're down to nothing. We've gone to every single language, heart language in the world, which is kind of amazing, right? Like that technology has been accelerating the translation projects, and that in our generation, this generation, we're going to be able to say, hey, humanity, we've conquered translating the Bible so that it's accessible to every single human being on earth. When you think about it, step back, that's magnificent.
It's the culmination of history.
Yes,
I think that's where in the narrative of God and the story of God, that all this technology has a vital role in how God is going to bring all people to himself, all tribes, nations, tongues, and we'll worship together. So the end is coming.
The end is coming, and we are the ones that rejoice at that, of course, right? And that just gives me sweet blessings, I guess, when I hear that scripture that I mentioned earlier on, right? That how beautiful are the feet of those who bring the good news. As it is written in Romans 14, actually Romans 15, I think, Romans 14 and 15. Romans 10, verses 14 and 15. It's how beautiful are the feet of those who bring the good news. Well, on that note, DJ, I think we'll call it the day. What are you looking forward to as we move forward in this Future.Bible project? Is there anything in particular that you could share with us that in your heart that this project, as we move forward and evolves, might come to fruition?
Yeah, I'm eager to talk with other people who are thinking about Bible and tech. So we're just handling one slice of it here on the Internet Superhighway with top-level domains, but certainly mobile apps, virtual reality, AR, other ways of using social media and technology, I think are widely available for us to explore and develop and really see people engaging with the Bible in fresh and new ways.
And DJ, I think that's right. That's a call to action for everybody here, that if you're one of our friends that are listening, if you're one of our supporters that are cheering us on with this Future.Bible project, please refer people to us, point people our way. And what's that singular call to action, DJ, that we say at the end of every show here? How do people get in touch with us and actually nominate or recommend a friend, refer people so that they can be included in the conversation here?
Go to Future.Bible in your browser and connect with us on iTunes, on Facebook, on Twitter, on everything. So Future.Bible is your call to action.
Thank you for joining us today. If you enjoyed today's session, please help us share this podcast with your friends, colleagues, and family members. You can do that by leaving a review on iTunes or by sharing our website, www.future.bible, with your network. Don't forget to join us next week for the next episode of the Future.Bible Podcast.